And what we have here tonight is an Anritsu receiver, HF receiver. It's RG81A. There are a few of these around, but these were made back in the, from 1983 to 1994. So, this early 80s technology on here. Just kind of go over these real quickly. These have different bandwidths. You can see the 6 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz, 1, and 300 hertz, kind of standard. You also have different modes here. CW, dual sideband, or AM. USB, this is not fax actually in this one. It is LSB. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And RTTY ready. Display. You have your meter, and you can toggle between them. Volume VFO, which works only on CW, and your gain, and your tune VFO. Over here's your AGC. It's very simple to write out: fast, slow, fine, or lock this in place. And then you have a lot of scanning functions and a direct entry keyboard for keypad for entering in directly. So anyway, let's turn her on and see how she goes. So, nice green display. This is not backlit. You can change the VU meter from line to signal by doing that. I always like signal because it shows me the bounce of the needle as the signal comes in. Go through the different bandwidths. 3, 1.3. These are blank, they don't do anything. But anyway, so, and let's see. Let me explain a little bit about the USB to fax here. Turn that down a little bit. There are 2 models of this, at least 2 models. This one, as the thing says on the front here, is RG81A, and I've never seen any of them have any other writing on there to denote another version of this. But one of the features you can do in these is to actually, and there's some dip switches inside, that you can actually, instead of having fax, you can have it USB and LSB. One of the differentiators that I've seen in these is the ones that are the original A's that just have it will have SSB here, single sideband, and then you have to use CW and kind of tune it around to get it the LSB to work. But anyway, so that's one of the key differences. So that one would have a fax mode, which gives you a little different, if you're looking at facsimile for things like that. But this one has been modified, whether at the factory or later on, to give it so that and I think it's probably at the factory because it has the USB button here versus, I've never seen one with an LSB button here. It's always the fax button that you can use as LSB. Some people put a label on it or whatever. This also has distress channels. You can click on those, and when you go off, it goes back to where you were. That was standard back during this time, because during quiet time when you had to listen for emergency signals. Yeah, see that we go there, and that's the older of the 2. Neither one of those are really relevant anymore since all that it's going to satellite. But it is an improvement over something like a RG82A or whatever, which is the previous generation of this, I guess. From the whole scanning part of this, I have yet to figure that one out. So I've got the manual for it. As you can see, pretty thick, and it's all in Japanese. So I'm having to do quite a bit more research on that to see what else goes on. The other thing with this particular radio is it's dead below 1600 kilohertz. Another 1.6 megs and below, it doesn't receive. Like if I go to 500, there's nothing. If I go to one frequency, get off that. If I go to 1.599, it's dead. Now if I go to 1600, here it opens up. So I don't know what that means, but it means I can't get AM radio or low frequencies. So if anybody has a solution for that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll have to do some digging around inside it. This one does not come with a serial number, so I can't tell you what year this was made. It has the approval plate on here. I think at one point it had a type, had a certification for working inside Japan. These are mostly used for maritime, coastal, and also fishing fleet uses. So this one came in a case. I'm presuming that means it probably came from a coastal station, but I can't verify that. I don't know anything about the history of this. There is a remote. You can control these remotely. There's no way of turning that on unless you have it plugged in the back, and it has the control signals going in through the back of it. So it is microprocessor controlled, so it is fairly modern from a computer standpoint versus some of the older versions of radios. RG82A and 53A are not that way. So this is one of the first ones that does that from Anritsu. All right, so let's tune around a little bit. Let's see, let's go to, see what. Now I've got this, this does not have an internal speaker, so I have it hooked up through, as I always do, a JRC NRD, or NVA 319, so that's what you hear. But this is just line out through the phone jack. So it sounds pretty good. The noise floor on this is higher than on the 107 R107A that I made a review of several videos ago. But its technology is different, and this one's about 10 years behind that one. So it does a good job. So let's see. Let me go to, and we're going to go LSB, as you see there. Now, if you go to LSB or USB, it still keeps you in 3. That's one of the ways you can tell that it actually has that solution. Now, this is a ham band. If I go to USB here, you don't hear them. LSB, you got them. Okay. I'm getting carrier. It's weak.
Well, Roger, well, Dustin, let me tell you that they called me into calling the net on Wednesdays. And so on Wednesdays,
that's not so weak.
With the SC102,
this is where your tuning actually works here for you. You can actually do fast and just spins by like megahertz just fly by. The slow gives you where you're going to be most of the time if you're trying to just do band scans. Fine allows you to get down to 10 hertz. And it's pretty fine granularity, and so you can zero in on those weak signals like that. It actually handles it pretty well. So now if we go, put it slow again. Get it. Trying to find a. Hang on. Trying to find a CW station. weak. Well, anyway, enough of that. Let's give ourselves a... Maybe we can hear the station. So, as you can see, this radio is a nice radio. It does a good job. It can be used as a main one. It's not going to have all the fine tuning and all the bandwidths and all the different ways of configuring it, like you're going to have with maybe some of the German models and things like that, where they have a different purpose for those radios. But for this one is very much in the Japanese tradition of giving you standard bandwidths, standard modes, and just getting the job done. That's a fairly simple interface. So I'm pretty pleased with it. If anybody has an idea about why I can't get anything below 1.6 megs, I'll be glad to hear that in the comments. And until then, I'll see you next time.